Between 2019 and 2023, total international development funding reached $2.04 trillion, yet only 1%, about $119.9 billion, went into improving air quality. In 2022 alone, global air quality funding totaled just $31.8 billion, according to the State of Global Air Quality Funding report. Despite air pollution being the world's largest environmental health threat, responsible for 7.9 billion deaths each year, or 1 in every 8 globally, it remains one of the most underfunded sectors. Ironically, funding that prolongs fossil fuel use jumped by 80% in 2023, from $5.3 to $9.5 billion, more than double what went into outdoor air pollution control. Clean Air Fund lead in Ghana, Desmond Appiah, says the trend is worrying.
Even though it's only 1% which is going into air quality all around the world, the amount coming into Africa is also extremely low as compared to what is going to Asia. And then also, of the 10 most polluted countries in the world in terms of air quality, 5 are in Africa. Of the amount coming into the continent, Egypt is the country that is receiving the most.
Though air quality funding has increased for 3 consecutive years, growth is slowing, up just 3% from 2022 to 2023. Direct funding for outdoor air quality action also dropped by 20%, from $4.7 to $3.7 billion. Desmond Appiah says this decline could threaten ongoing clean air efforts.
And so it is not fair. It is not fair that there is not enough funding going to address a challenge which is identified as the biggest environmental risk to public health. And to see that the amount coming into Africa based on the rising population, the urbanization, is also that low. I think it is quite worrying, and it calls for a relook and a rethink.
Between 2019 and 2023, only 4% of total air quality funding went into waste projects. For organizations like the Green Africa Youth Organization, GAYO, that could store important community-based clean air projects. Jacob Atakpa, Zero Waste Director at GAYO, says reduced funding puts their work at risk.
The findings are very alarming because it's showing us a stark reality that we feared for so long, that just about 1% of international development funding is going to clean air related issues. And that's troubling for us because then it means that every dollar, every CD that goes into working on projects around clean air at the community level has to be overworked, meaning that clean air may not necessarily be mainstreamed as a topical issue, but will be relegated to the background. And it's specifically alarming again for those of us in sub-Saharan Africa because Africa is one of the very fast urbanizing continents in the world.
Desmond Appiah believes the global strategy must change to sustain progress on clean air.
There's always the cry that there's not enough funding, and then you hear others say that there is funding. It's just people don't know how to assess it. I think we need to be able to build that capacity. If you're looking for funding and you are not putting, say you go to a green fund, and you are not putting your issue in that language for them to understand, it becomes difficult to assess the resource.
And for Jacob Atakpa, the solution lies in innovation and renewed global commitment.
Because air pollution is something that is underlined in all these areas. And so to mainstream this issue would be to pay heavy attention to it to ensure that we protect the environment and human life. For international partners, we want to see more de-risking of projects. We want to see less and less funding of pilot projects and more funding for scalable community projects.
As advocates push for stronger action, they say clean air must move higher up the funding agenda because lives depend on it. This story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund, which had no say in the story's content. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.